What does AHRI stand for?
AHRI stands for the Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Institute.
Well, how did you find your way to working at AHRI? Let's start with that.
Well, it's a funny story, I guess. So going back probably 30-some years ago, I found myself a new graduate from college with an engineering degree. And I was actually attending my brother's wedding back home. And during the reception, I happened to stand to this gentleman next to me, and we started chatting. And he told me, well, I work for this company and in HVAC, and we certify our products for chillers, and we just started this new program with AHRI, and we really need some help. Do you mind helping us doing some work there? I said, sure, I wouldn't mind it. So that's how I got into it. I started working for a manufacturer in my hometown, actually, of all places, in Virginia. And I did that for about 3 years. The company got bought out by a Singapore or Malaysian company, and they moved. And then that's when I moved to my current company, which is AHRI at the time. So yeah, you never know what seems like a inconsequential small step at the time ends up changing your lifetime career.
Yeah, that's the truth. So AHRI, it sounds like it evolved into AHRI. Can you tell me a little bit about how those changes came over the years?
Yeah, sure. AHRI was formed probably, it was a little over 60 years ago when the industry got together and formed AHRI, association representing the industry. And we were founded on the principle of trying to represent the industry and serve the industry, if you will, and really by trying to provide a level playing field for competition, writing standards, doing certification and testing, and also providing basically bringing integrity to the industry rating for the consumer so they can be sure that when they buy something from our members and manufacturers, that it will perform as promised. And so over that time, we've grown, starting out with a residential air conditioner unitary heat pump to almost 50 different type of categories of standards and certification, commercial, residential, refrigeration. And in 2008, we merged with the gas association, what's called GAMA, and formed AHRI. So we added the H for heating. So now we basically represent the entire industry. Anything that's not plugged in, we tell people. Plugged in, there's a separate home appliance group that represent plugged in equipment.
So why should a consumer ask for an AHRI certified product?
Well, that's a great question because I think above all, that's what we really bring to the table for consumers because that's really the only way you can ensure that the product you buy will perform as advertised. First of all, certification ensures that all the products are rated, compare apple to apples because we use the same standard for rating and testing. So you can compare manufacturers' rating. And also we go through a very extensive, the industry invests a huge amount of resources to make sure that the product will perform through a voluntary certification program. Each year, the industry spends millions and millions of dollars. We test over 3,000 pieces of equipment every year, randomly selected and tested at independent laboratories just to be sure that the product will perform. So, for consumers, if you don't specify a certified product, there's no guarantee that there's any check on that performance rating. So that's why it's really, really important. I want to also add a couple of things specific to the consumer market. Over the years, there's a lot of rebates, if you will, provided by utility companies. Certainly the West Coast, some of the utility companies were very big in that. So for any of the utility rebates, demand side management, they will always require the product be AHRI certified. And they will often ask for what's called AHRI reference number. If you don't have that reference number, you're not going to get your rebate. So it's better for the consumer to make sure they buy a certified product, get that reference number, then find out after the fact what they have is not a certified combination and miss out on the rebate. One other thing I want to mention is warranty. If you don't get a certified product, sometimes the combination that you buy, people put the outdoor-indoor unit together that are not really meant to be put together by the manufacturer, and there's no certification for that, then there's a possibility you might get rejected for warranty service down the road. So those are some very important things for consumers to think about and why they should specify AHRI certified. If you go to our directory, you will find millions of certified combinations. So the manufacturer put those combinations together. What we do is that if you certify in our program, you have to certify everything. So what that means is the manufacturer can say if they have 100,000 combinations, they can't just pick and choose and certify 100 of those and leave the rest of them uncertified. So once they join our program, we require them to certify every single combination. So that ensures that those combinations you find in the marketplace from a certified manufacturer are in fact, have the certification mark, and you can find those ratings in our directory. And I can tell you, for the most part, these manufacturers are very conservative in their ratings. They do not want to not pass a test within AHRI because there's a lot of ramifications for not passing a certification test.
Yeah, so what happens if a product doesn't pass or if it doesn't perform well?
If it doesn't pass, they will have to re-rate. So if they say it's a 16 SEER and we test it to be a 15 SEER, then that rating is automatically derated in the directory. And obviously, the manufacturer can't get as much money for those combinations. But beyond that, they're going to get tested more. So the more you fail within AHRI, the more you have to test, right? And then there's a big burden of testing. And if you were to fail beyond the Federal Department of Energy, DOE, minimum requirements, then you're in real big trouble, because we submit all that information to DOE for anybody that fails to meet the minimum requirement. And then you get a pretty big fine from DOE for not meeting those minimum requirements.
Let's say we just got a simple, like a 1-ton, 1-to-1 ductless, so single zone. What sort of testing would that piece of equipment see on average?
First of all, every manufacturer who join our program have to submit the rating, the performance efficiency rating to AHRI before they go into the market, right? So that's how this thing works. So we have a directory, and as I mentioned earlier, they have to certify every single combination. So first of all, they go in the directory, they put in that performance rating. Once it's in the directory, it is subject to our random testing. So every year we have a random testing program. The manufacturers do not know which models we're going to test. What we do is we work with independent laboratories around the country, and they go in and they get the list of products that we want to test. They go into the manufacturing facility and they look for these products in their stock. And each manufacturer has to have at least 3 of that same model in order for them to pick one to be considered random. And once they're selected, these units are taped and to protect the integrity so nobody else opens it up. And then they ship to the labs. And the lab that we use are all independent. AHRI, we don't own any labs on purpose. We want to keep that independent. And then they go through a very detailed testing in accordance with our standard by industry professional that does nothing but testing. And then they will provide a test report, independent test report to AHRI. So it's very, it's a lot of effort, obviously. A lot of work is done by the manufacturer before they even get to that point in terms of doing product performance testing within their own facility. So if you go to our website, you can find a link. It's right there, very prominent. It has a directory. It's an online directory in real time. What that means is whenever there's a change in rating for whatever reason, it's automatically uploaded to that directory. And in that directory, you can find residential products and commercial products. And within residential, if you hit the tab of residential product, you will see all different residential products, ducted, ductless, geothermal, all type of furnaces, all type of residential products. And then within that, you can search anything you want. I made reference to the AHRI reference number earlier. That's the easiest way. If you have a reference number, you just put that referencing number, that will pull up that unique product combination that you're looking for. What the biggest thing I think consumer has to watch out for is putting together their own combinations. If you go out to a mom and pop shop who's not always in tune with what's going on in the industry, they may take a piece of outdoor unit, put together indoor unit, they put it together. Does it work? Yeah, it kind of works. Will you get efficiency? No, you're not. Is it going to break prematurely? It might. And that particular combination may not have been certified by those manufacturers to work together. So that's what you have to watch out for. But for anything that's out there that's properly matched by the manufacturers, it's pretty much all certified. Well, a lot of things I mentioned earlier, looking for certified data equipment, asking for that reference number, right? Because you want to get that before you actually, make the commitment, install it, because once it's installed, you really can't get it anymore. And then the other thing is picking a right contractor to install the product. We can't tell you how important that is. The equipment that all manufacturers make is only as good as the installation. So if you don't pick a proper contractor to put it in, you're going to have issues. You're certainly not going to get the efficiency that was rated and tested for. So, obviously a lot of business these days live and die by the reviews. Look for the reviews, look for the word of mouth, ask for references. And people who are doing the right thing, contractors, you're going to know that they're going to be straight up with you. They're gonna be upfront with you. They're gonna tell you the real cost. They're not gonna try to beat around the bush. So look for the proper contractor and get that information. The other thing that we also provide, from a contractor, is we provide a printout, a certificate, if you will. For consumer, they can also ask for that certificate because it will have a date stamp on it to tell you when that rating is valid. And it's very easy to use. And if there's any rebates I mentioned earlier, those things can be submitted to get your rebate very easily. Luckily, a couple of things. One, the work that we as HRI, do is pretty conducive to being done, remotely. We still miss the gathering, the meetings where we pull the industry together. We have the discussions. So we haven't really lost a lot, from HRI perspective in terms of working. And the other thing that we've done is we had a contingency plan for working remotely. We weren't thinking about COVID at all. We were thinking about other catastrophe that could happen here in Washington, D.C. mainly. But nevertheless, COVID hit, and we were able to pretty seamlessly, move 100% of our people working remotely. Have been doing so since I think the first week of March, and we'll be continuing to do at least for the end of the year. The industry, have done pretty well too. It's a little different. That obviously they have to deal with manufacturing, and our testing was slowed down a little bit due to COVID because being able to ship equipment around the world to get tested has slowed down. But we pretty much caught up. So I think we're in pretty good shape. AHRI is founded on the principle. We have what we call four core values, right? Standards, certification, policy, and the data analytics. So everything we do focus on those four things, which provides us our mission and our goals. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. We will build on providing industry standards and testing certification programs and policy. We're trying to pursue policy that's beneficial to the industry, the whole industry that includes the consumers and customers of our members. And the data analytics is becoming more important as we are using it to predict the likelihood of certain combinations to pass and fail, and all those great things that we're doing on behalf of our members.
Well, I just want to sum it up for our viewers who've been on the call with us. If you're looking at getting a piece of equipment, go with an AHRI certified. Like Henry said, you may not even be able to find pieces of equipment that aren't, but make sure if a rebate's important to you that you are finding that reference number in anticipation of choosing a system. Don't select the system and then look for the reference number. By then it's installed, it's too late. You can get on the AHRI website and look at their directory for real-time updates on efficiency ratios, something that's tested at random all the time, so they're constantly testing. And you also want to make sure you find a reputable contractor, a contractor that will that has great reviews, a contractor that will shoot straight with you and will install your equipment correctly, so that the standard that is assumed when the equipment is tested is being upheld in the field, and you'll have the great efficient equipment that, if you maintain it well, will serve you for a long time, keep you and your family comfortable, keep your air cleaner in the home, all those sorts of things.
I've been with AHRI for almost 28 years now, so it's been a long time, and I love to talk about what we do. I've been very lucky and fortunate to be in industry and doing something I love, and very passionate to share what we do and how we can benefit the consumers. So if there's anything else you guys want to ask, follow up, just let me know, Charlie. I'd be happy to answer any questions, provide any support you may have.
Thank you, Henry. It's been a real pleasure. I'll let you get back to your day over there. Take care.
Likewise. Thanks, Charlie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.